Home sweet home, huh?
Yeah. Looks pretty good, huh?
Yeah. Wonder if we're going to get to meet the mayor.
I'm not sure, but if you notice, I think they named all the little huts off of places in Las Vegas, maybe?
Dunes. Dunes, yeah, they're named after casinos. So that's where you're going to be.
So the camp's, well, it's a bunch of plywood shacks. You know, they're pretty insulated. They're all toasty right inside with, I guess, an oil drip stove.
I think it would be very harsh for people that live in a city, and I think it would be very hard for them to understand.
I'm just adding a little color to a fairly barren landscape.
We have people that come in and we ask people to work in the kitchens just to help and, you know, wash dishes and stuff. And they think, you know, they're running the water like they think they're in New York or something, and you have to go grab them and say, don't turn that off, because we have to make our own water.
Since we have no fresh water and it's salty, we just can't pump it out of the sea. So we have to find a nice clean spot away from camp, away from the outhouses of course, to mine some fresh ice. We break it up like this, and we take it over to the kitchen, and they melt it for meals.
What we're trying to do is put a great big box around it and put a bunch of little points everywhere we can to measure the different pieces, and then put it together like a giant three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle. And it's tricky though, because some of the jigsaw puzzle's water, some of it's ice, and some of it's air.
Well, I think that just, frankly, the logistics has a lot to do with regard to why it's hard to study this. I mean, you can see the massive effort that's gone on here to get a relatively small group of scientists together to study a particular phenomenon. And we're only one small part of the Arctic.
IPY is very exciting, and I'm delighted that we got out here right at the start of IPY. I think I hope we can set a precedent for the following 2 years in terms of international collaboration.
We're trying to measure snow density, so we have a cylinder that we've stuck into the snow, and we know the diameter of the cylinder and how deep the snow is, so from that we can work out the volume of snow. We then take the snow back to the control room, and we can weigh how much snow we have, and from that, if we divide the weight by the volume, then we have the snow density.
The trick is to be out here for long hours, not sweat too much, not get too cold, and still get all the work done. Scientists are working on a grid, collecting snow samples to do ground truthing with the satellites.
When we ground truth for measurement, what we're doing is looking at our measurement that our satellite makes from space, and then taking measurements on the ground over which the satellite is passing to check that what we see from space is representative of what we see on the ground.
We're diving for a couple of reasons. The first today is what we call a familiarization dive. It just acclimates our divers to the polar environment, and then we're going to start our working dives, which will be to carry instrumentation under the ice to basically map the depth of ice keels, the ice blocks that form after a lead opens up and closes again.
Beautiful. And the big blocks of ice sticking down, keels hanging out everywhere. It was an amazing place to be.
Oh, the keel was out of this world. The light was great. So a few ctenophores up close, lots of ice crystals like you're in a snow globe. It was pretty wild. We got most of the sample and transect site done.
For the most part, it went really well. All the divers went in safe. They all came out safe. So we're pretty happy.
We have a really ambitious project, and I was expecting that we wouldn't be able to do half of it because of the time limits at the camp, and we're actually halfway through the camp and more than halfway through our data collection.
The fact that people are more interested in understanding their environment is a fantastic thing, because I think it's causing people to understand that they're responsible, that they have a responsibility to steward this environment. and not just this environment, but the environment in general. And I think that increased awareness and sensitivity is just what the planet needs.
How does it feel to be the first official camp of IPY?
It's kind of proud. I mean, I sent an email back to my family saying that, and you know, it's when I was a little kid, I always wanted to be a polar explorer, so here I am.